There we go. I think we're live. Hey, you guys, thanks for joining me today. My name is Jessie with Decker Truckline. And Decker has been around for, 90 plus years. But we have been doing this since about 2015, where we're answering your questions, going live every week so that we can, basically just answer your questions. Make sure that you have a good understanding of what Decker is all about, how we can help you, and what positions we have available. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. That's what this is all about, giving you an opportunity to ask and get them answered. So thanks for joining me today, you guys. It is the first part of January 2024. How crazy is that? By the way, we do go live every week, so you'll see updates constantly if you're watching this. And we already have a new one out there. Check out the new one so you have the most up-to-date details. Obviously, we're live right now on the 2nd of January. So, yeah. Katie's here. There we go. Hey, Katie. Who else do we have here? Nick, how are ya? Nick's hopping on. Good to see some fellow drivers. Jacob and Elizabeth. Awesome. Thanks, Jacob. Thanks, Elizabeth. Elizabeth says, my husband has applied and I'm joining the live forum. Awesome. Making sure that we have a good understanding, right? So, Elizabeth, what position has Jacob applied for? Let's make sure that we've got all of the details available for you. Now, of course, when you're reaching out to our recruiters, if you've done an application and you've reached out to our recruiters, the number that you're seeing on the screen here, this 877 number, that's directly to the recruiting department. 877-433-2537, which is 877-4-DECKER, D-E-C-K-E-R. So, again, if you have questions, you can, of course, reach out to them, but we can answer these live so that if anybody else is having the same questions or has the same questions, we can get those all at once, right? Let's see. Let me see if I can see Jacob's application, or at least pull it up, make sure that we did receive it. Sometimes I get individuals saying that they applied and maybe they've applied to a third party and we don't get it. So that's why I'm just gonna double check since I've got you here. Looks like we did. Awesome. Speaking with Jeremy, it looks like he's got your application. And then I clicked off of my live and don't know where I'm at. Okay. He says that North Carolina Refrigerated. He spoke with Jeremy. He spoke with Jeremy this morning. I have been a recruiter for, here at Decker, I started in July of 2010. I help the recruiting department. I'm in the communications department, so Katie and I hoping to relay the information accurately to you. So, yeah, it looks like Jeremy is the one that spoke to you this morning about the position, and I just need to double check. There are some areas that we have refrigerated and some areas that we don't. Now, obviously, he does have you for refrigerated, so we're golden. Perfect. So our refrigerated position, it pays, pretty much all of our positions pay based off of your experience level, and the more years of experience you have, the higher pay you get per mile. That being said, we have a minimum pay that's pretty much put in place in most of our positions. The ones that aren't are going to be either dedicated or home daily. Right now, the availability for home daily is full, with maybe the exception of one of our hopper positions based out of Fort Dodge, Iowa. So that one was available last I heard. Of course, I didn't double check this morning like I should have. But that one is a 6 a.m. start. You must live within a 25-mile radius of Fort Dodge in order to qualify for that. Fort Dodge, Iowa, by the way, that's our main terminal here in Fort Dodge. So Elizabeth says, yes. Is there not any OTR for North Carolina? He only mentioned regional. We do have OTR. Yes, absolutely. He probably mentioned regional, assuming that that's what you had in mind was 11 to 3. But let's be more specific here for you, because I want to make sure that we're kind of guiding you through the right position. Decker Dave, the trucker guy. Hey, how are you? My Christmas was wonderful. Thank you. So was my New Year's. It was pretty chill, playing a lot of board games, charades with my munchkins and my husband. You have an awesome year too. Thank you. He told them, so Elizabeth says he told them 11 days out and 3 days home. Yes, that is accurate. That is, when it comes to regional, our regional is pretty OTR. But yeah, we have the 11 days out, 3 days home. We also have, you can stay out 21 plus days. Just, he probably told you the 11 days and 3 days home because that's the least amount required to stay out. So that's, or the most often we can get you home, however the way you want to say that. But we do have options. We have the OTR, which is going to be, 2 to 3 weeks out at a time and then home for 3 to 4 days. We figure for every 7 days that you're out, it's a day and a half home time. And then, of course, we have this this one, which is going to be a little bit more, or home a little bit more often, where you're out about 11 days at a time and then home for 3 days. So yeah, we have both options, but that's probably why he was giving you more information on that, because it's more common than not. Now, I'm assuming, and you correct me if I'm wrong, so I don't make a you-know-what out of myself, but are you planning on riding with Jacob, or do you stay at home? Because we do have a rider policy. You just need to make sure that you're communicating that with your driver manager or with your recruiter initially, and then, of course, your DM. But that information will be passed along to your driver manager as well. It's just always good to make sure that you're having that communication, that conversation with them as well, so that we're all on the same page. That being said, we have an expectation form that once you're approved, or once Jacob's approved, he'll go through with the recruiter, you'll talk about it, and then if it's step by step, and then he'll see it. He'll actually get an email of it, so he knows this is the home time, this is what he can expect, this is the rate of pay, these are the expected miles, or at least the average right now, and the average weekly home or weekly pay. These are the benefits, this is when they start. Like, he'll get all of that information emailed over to him, so he has basically a paper trail to keep track of, and a little reassurance, because I know a lot of times when people are looking, they're looking at a couple different companies, and that information can get all bobbled up, and you kind of confused between one company to the next. So we want to make sure that you've got all of the details for Ducker. You know what position you're applying for, what kind of home time to expect. You can get that all scheduled. So yeah, we do have that rider policy. So if you are looking to ride with, you just need to communicate that with the recruiter, with Jeremy in this instance, so that he can get the ball in motion for you to ride with. So, he wants to go Midwest so bad. Honestly, Elizabeth, it doesn't really matter what position he'd be with us in for refrigerated. He's going to run Midwest. So the difference between the 11 days out, well, we can still do longer out if he prefers, but the difference between the divisions or the running areas is he can run OTR, like a true OTR where it's coast to coast, and most of it's going to be west of the Mississippi. So a lot of Northwest, West, and Midwest. So that's the majority of our true OTR. But we have the option where he can just stay east of Denver too. So Denver east. And when I say east, I don't want to scare you guys and think, oh, we're going to run up and down the New England, or we're going to go into the New England states a lot. We're going to run up and down the East Coast. You could see the East Coast, yes, like I-95 and west. We don't do a whole lot of the New England states. We run up into what's the little town up in southwestern New York? There's a little town that we deliver ice cream into. We don't do a whole lot of New England states. We try to avoid it, truck, just convenience-wise and comfort. We don't do a whole lot of it, but we do run up there every once in a while. Most of it's going to be the Midwest, heavy in the Midwest, no matter which refrigerated division you're in. So if that's what he wants to run, perfect. A lot of Iowa, a lot of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kansas, Nebraska, yes, into Wyoming, like into the Cheyenne area, and into Denver. Now he can run, like I said, he can run out west as well. Either one of them or both of them are going to include the Midwest, so that's not going to be an issue with us. Any position he chooses is going to be Midwest. That was a really long explanation. Sorry. But yeah, you'll be good. Nick says, I'm on the 21 days out, but 21 20 days out, but stay out a few more days. Yes. Okay, sorry, I can't read, I guess. But yeah, that's like Nick was saying, 21 plus days, because some people do prefer to stay out longer. I think of, there are quite a few people actually who stay out longer, and then they just take a little bit more home time. It works better for them. Sometimes they'll just take their reset out on the road if they come up on a reset, and that way they just can chill a little bit. But yes, it's definitely something he can stay out longer, but either way, Midwest is golden. Now you have a 5-month-old. Yeah, so probably not going to ride with. Congratulations, by the way, on your munchkin. That's awesome. Elizabeth said, I took notes while he was on the phone. Perfect. We will provide you all of those details as well. So notes are great. Always take notes. I'm a note taker. But we'll also do a follow-up with you to make sure that you have all the details. Decker Dave says, what's the latest on my Peterbilt? You know what? Okay, so the most, I got to double check who I'm talking to here. YouTube names throw me off. Hang on, I got to get my other notebook. There we go. Okay, so what I need is to check with Lisa. Lisa does our trucks. So for those of you who are wondering, our trucks are mostly the 579 Peterbilts, like 95, 96 plus percent are Peterbilt. So most of them are Peterbilts. We have, and those are the 579s. We have some 389s, but those are for our veteran drivers who've been here 15 plus years. They get to spec some of those trucks, so it's pretty common. But yeah, most of our trucks are the 579s. We have a few Volvos, we have a few Freightliners. Very nice trucks, really well maintained, but they also have a ton of amenities. APUs, inverters, refrigerators, microwaves, 22-inch television, plus Epic View satellite TV. That's company paid programming. It does include Sunday Ticket, by the way, as we're coming towards the end. Not totally, but close enough. We have, let's see, what else? Showtime, HBO, Cinemax. Yeah, lots of amenities. Double bunk trucks. We do have a lot of storage in them. I think I mentioned microwaves, bunk heaters. Both the driver's side and the passenger side are air ride seats. So yeah, these are really nice trucks. Let's see. Nick says Holly is awesome. Definitely been busy. Good. Jacob and Elizabeth, he was told 57 cents, but is that for experience? He has 1 year of experience. Yes, that is for 1 year of experience. Now, he gets a minimum of $1,000 a week. All right. So let me double check his zip. Make sure that I'm giving all the right numbers here. Okay. So yeah, that's the 57 cents a mile is going to be based off of his years of experience. And since he just has the 1 year, he starts at 57, but he'll get a penny raise after 90 days. Then he'll get a penny raise annually as well. But yes, his starting point would be 57. 3 months of it was refrigerator. Okay, so now that's making sense to me. Yeah, but the 57 is where he'll start off at. Like I said, penny raise after 90 days and then penny raise annually. The cap right now is at 70 cents a mile. Nick, Decker Dave says, I've been here 7 months and do mostly Texas east, a little west of Texas, but not a lot. Yeah, because that is going to be more of our, I'm going to say more of our regional, but it's still very much OTR. So when you're running a lot of, if you just choose not to go out west, and there are people who choose not to go out west, that's fine. Just know that no matter where you're at, the Midwest is going to be heavy. Dave Fisher, yes. Okay, thank you. See, you're throwing me off. All right. Yes, I usually running the 11 Western. So if you run the OTR, like the true OTR, run out west, out those Western states are going to be very common for you. Yeah, especially when you feel comfortable. There are some people who aren't as comfortable throwing chains. When it comes to chains, by the way, you need to know how to do it, especially if you're running out west, because they're to get you out of trouble. And when you're running the passes, there's a chance that you could have to throw them. That said, I know a lot of guys who have 30 plus years of experience. They run out west all the time. They don't throw chains. It's their call. You're the professional driver. We are relying on you. You just need to communicate with the driver manager. Obviously, you have to carry chains. That's the DOT regulations. Those are DOT law. That you have to carry the chains from the 1st of September to the 31st of May. But no problem. We've got them. We'll make sure the trucks are equipped. Nick says, I still need to get through to the terminal and get my satellite fixed. Yeah, well, all of these perks, all these amenities that we have, there are some quirks and frustrations and troubleshooting to go along with it. So I do want to give you a heads up on that as well. APUs, they rock, right? Are they not awesome to have? There are times that they are frustrating, that they need a little troubleshooting. And sometimes it's an easy fix, like cranking the knob all the way on and then cranking it off and then adjusting it to the temperature that you want. I have no idea why that works. It does, that it is what it is, but if you didn't know that, that's how you can fix it. And if you did know it, then you haven't had any problems for a while, right? But yeah, that's one of the ways to fix, depending on the issue, of course. If it's not working properly or not heating up properly, cranking it over to one side and then turning it down, turning it off all the way, and then adjusting it to the heat temperature. I don't know. We do have 3 different APU troubleshooting videos to help in case you need it. And they all have a little bit different issue that they're helping to troubleshoot. So those are really nice. We know a lot of people, whether you're a professional driver here at Decker or not, that have utilized those videos and they've been helpful for them. So yeah. So where am I at? So Nick says, yep, got to get that fixed. He's been here a couple of months, and Elizabeth is asking, are you getting good miles? He says, yes, I've been getting great miles, and I'm sure there'll be weeks that I don't, but that's the job, Yeah, that's pretty accurate. There's times, it fluctuates. That's why we have the minimum pay, for one. That's part of it. But of course, the miles that you run and the pay that you get per mile, if they exceed the minimum pay, which is obviously most likely, that's the whole point of it, then you'll get the better of the two. So, Eddie says, hey Eddie, do you hire out of Atlanta, Georgia? Yes, definitely. We have refrigerated and flatbed out of Atlanta. We have the over the road or home in the refrigerated. We can do 11 days out. We can do 21 plus days out. It depends on your preference. We require in the refrigerated 6 months of in the refrigerated division, we require 6 months of experience unless you're a recent graduate. If you're a recent graduate, we can train you, but 6 months minimum otherwise. As for flatbed, we require a minimum of 6 months specific flatbed experience or a year of tractor trailer before we can train you. Decker said, or Dave, sorry, Dave, my radio went off, so I have no music in my truck and weather updates. What about so we have tablets in the truck. Are you guys familiar with the TransFlow tablets? We have tablets in the truck, and if you log onto your phone, obviously not while you're driving, but if you get onto your phone, you can set it up for Wi-Fi, and you can stream Wi-Fi from your tablet to your phone. That way, if you want to listen to podcasts, music, depending on what you use, you can set that up as well. If you don't have any music, right? He says his radio went off. So we have, because you mean your regular radio, I'm assuming. We have Sirius Radio, all in the truck, and you can take advantage of that if you have a subscription. It's different than the TV because the TV subscription is held by Decker. You would hold the Sirius Radio, but a lot of people do stream. And the free Wi-Fi, of course. And weather updates. The other thing is you can get weather updates from the local television too. When you stop at a location, you can scan your TV for all the channels, the local channels, and that'll help with weather. But another way to do that is there is an awesome, obviously using the Wi-Fi will help, but there's an awesome Facebook group for truckers. It's for weather and forecast for truckers specifically. That helps as well. But like I said, I would stream. First of all, I would set up your Wi-Fi so that you can utilize the weather.com app or whatever app, 511, whatever it is that you use. Yep. Elizabeth, 19 to 2100 is about right for the refrigerated. That there, in some of the divisions or in some of the cases, we're doing more, but that I would say that is pretty average right now. My radio stopped working, he said. Yeah, so you've got one, no wonder, one after another, right? So let's get that. Yeah. Are you talking speaker like the speaker isn't? So it's not the radio, it's the speaker itself? Yeah, Elizabeth, they're pretty consistent with the 21 or with a 19 to 2100. That's pretty darn consistent, but it does depend on making sure that you're available as well. But when it comes to 2 miles, that is definitely the consistency. He's giving you the most accurate, most up-to-date average based off of all of our numbers. And those numbers are going to include some people who are on home time. So they're not maybe not running every single day, but that is our current average. It's the radio. Okay, so you have the option of streaming through your phone and stuff. Cool. Excellent. Okay, so let me talk about benefits since it's another question, and since Elizabeth says where he's currently driving, they do favoritism. They give more miles to who they can barely getting 1,000 a week. So Elizabeth, one thing that I would probably want to mention is it doesn't do us any good to show favoritism. So every company is probably a little bit different, but for us, when we're hiring based off of not only your experience, but your safety record. We're looking for someone long-term. We're not looking to just fill a seat and, not take any, what do I want to say? Like, we're investing in an individual when we're hiring them. So that's what I mean by looking for somebody long-term. And if we barely get them 1,000 miles a week, and they're not surviving. I mean, you can't really survive off of that for very long, right? So that's why we have that minimum pay, partially, is because if there is an instance where he didn't get the miles for some reason, whatever that reason is, he knows that he's got that safety net. He can budget, you guys can budget off of knowing that you're going to have that $1,000 a week, right? Okay, speaking of, that $1,000 is taxed, obviously. So keep that in mind when you're doing your budget. But so Nick says 2,400 is what he's averaging. He's in the OTR where he's out 21 plus days. The one that Jeremy quoted you was being home every 11 days. So that's where there's a little bit of difference in those average miles, or at least what he's averaging. But again, it depends on the individual. So knowing that you have that minimum pay, that's part of it, okay? But when it comes to dispatching, we do our best to pre-plan, at least see the full picture. So you've got your driver manager working with the customer service department so that they can find the loads and have the loads available as soon as you're empty. So as soon as Jacob gets empty, we plan to have him move in again, right? But a part of that is not only having the driver manager and the customer service department working together, but it's also making sure that both Jacob and his driver manager are working together so that the moment he's empty, he's sending over that empty call over the TransFlow app, right? So he's got the TransFlow, he's sending in, I'm empty, I'm unloaded, I'm ready for my next dispatch. So that information is sent over. The driver manager gets the next load for him, and sometimes he'll have that information ready, depending on what type of load he's delivering. Sometimes he'll have that follow-up, that pre-plan ready for him as soon as he's done. It'll just automatically kick to him. But having that communication is really important. Talking to some of our professional drivers who have been here forever, and not only here at Decker, but have been on the road for years, their advice is to make sure that the moment you're available, you're communicating that to your driver manager. And if you're running behind for some reason, it could be maintenance issues, it could be the shipper was delayed, or whatever the reason might be, but making sure you're constantly communicating with your driver manager. So your driver manager has that peace of mind that they're obviously relying on you. They're putting faith in you and making sure that whatever they're sending over is going to be followed up on. Because we have a wonderful customer base, a very strong customer base that we've got great relationships with. And we want to make sure that stays. We've been in business for over 90 years. And in order to have had that customer base that we do, we've had to take care of them. And our professional drivers are known for taking care of our customers. So kudos to them. And of course, it wouldn't be even a thing if we didn't have them doing so. Anyways, that being said, it's very important to make sure that he's making himself available. So because if there's two people there at a shipper or at a receiver, and one of them becomes empty before the next, it's the first one empty who's going to get the load, not the senior driver or the most veteran driver, if that makes sense. It's because it's first come, first available. That's how we work it. But anyways, that was a long explanation as well. But that's just another thing to keep in mind. We have that safety net for you to budget off of. We want to get you the miles as much as possible, because if you're not getting the miles, then Decker doesn't make money either. So not only would you not be making money, Decker doesn't make money. So even though we have that safety net, our goal is to exceed that every single time. That safety net is there to protect you. But if we are paying that safety net, that means that you're not getting the miles, and then that we're not getting paid for those either. So it's better for us to make sure that you're getting the miles and exceeding that safety, or that safety net, that minimum amount each week. Cool? Okay. Hey, Peter, reapplied. Awesome. I will have to check on that. I haven't heard one way or the other. Elizabeth says, it's the same people getting a lot of miles. He tells them, keep me out 2 weeks because they say it's beginning to guarantee you home 2 weeks. So then he's told that I want to stay out. And if it doesn't happen, does the dispatch give out in several trips at once, or waiting till they're unloaded? Usually waiting until they're unloaded. That it's not always the case, because that can change, and because it's first come first serve. So I might be using the first come first serve in the wrong manner, because when you're delivering, it's first come first serve with most of the shippers and receivers. But it's the same mindset with us. The first person unloaded is going to be the one who gets that next load. So unless it is you're the only one there, then you're going to have that pre-plan ahead of time. You can have that pre-plan ahead of time to know where you're going next. But usually, even though the driver managers have these pre-plans in mind based off of when you're scheduled to deliver, that could change if truck A gets unloaded before truck B, and truck B was going to go on another one, and we had to switch those around. So yes, it's the first one empty is the first one who gets the next load. So if there are multiple trucks at one location, just know that that's how it works. So if we gave you a pre-plan, that sucker could be flipped around real quick. That would affect you. So the answer to do you get several trips at once or wait till they're unloaded? Usually wait till you're unloaded. Dean says, hello from South Carolina. I'm going to switch to shorts. It's hot. It's hot. You know, it's gorgeous here. I think it's in the 50s here. Yeah, I'm in Montana, by the way. We have our main terminal in Fort Dodge, Iowa, which is where orientation and everything is done. That's our main hub. And when it comes to doing orientation, all of that's there. Then we have a terminal in Missoula, Montana, in Bessemer, Alabama, and actually we have a couple locations out of Iowa. Des Moines, we have a shop. Hammond, Indiana, we have a terminal there. And Sperry, Minneapolis, we have a terminal there as well. So, yes. Elizabeth says, do you have layover, detention pay, whatever? Yes, we have layover, breakdown, detention, all of the above. Now, it depends. In the refrigerated division, it's $20 an hour for the on-time delivery. Of course, you have to be on time in order to qualify for detention, right? So that's currently capped at $200, so each 24-hour period. So basically $200 within a 24-hour period is the max that you can get. But we have the layover. Layover is at $75 for the first 24 hours, and then it's $100 for the following 24. And then breakdown is a little bit steeper. It's $100 for the first day, and then it goes to $150 for the second, and $200 for 3 days and on. Now, keeping in mind, if you do have a breakdown, and we feel that it's going to be a while for that truck to get, maybe it's something major, or they're waiting for a part, and so there's going to be a delay. What we might do, and this is fairly common, is we might have arrangements for you to get into a different truck so that you don't have to sit and wait there and you can run and get those miles. That way you'll be able to outdo the minimum pay. Now the minimum pay, if we're able to get you a truck and keep you moving instead of sitting there and waiting, if you have the option, definitely choose the option to keep moving. That way you'd still qualify for that minimum pay. Do you have a layover? Oh, I missed that one. Will you repeat that? I'm taking notes. For the detention layover pay, all of that. Yes, I will repeat that slower. So detention is $20 an hour for on-time deliveries, on-time delivery detention, okay? If he's late, then he wouldn't qualify for the detention because if it was a driver service failure, okay? Katie put it in the notes there for you. And then for layover, at the first 24 hours at $75, and then the second 24 and thereafter it would be $100 for the 24-hour period. And then for breakdown is $100 the first day, $150 the second day, and $203 on up. But again, if the truck is going to be broke down for a while, or if it's going to be a while before we get the part and can get it fixed, and it's something that you wouldn't be able to move the truck while it's getting fixed, that's something you can come back for, then we probably put you in a temporary truck so that you can keep moving. So that way you can get the miles and stuff. You betcha. Eddie says, do you have a lease purchase program? You know what? We do have a lease purchase program, but I do want to put a big ol' asterisk on that right now, okay? Here's why. We have the minimum pay, right? We have that safety net that I was talking about for our company drivers. We don't have that for the lease purchase drivers. And the way that the industry currently is, the state that we are in right now, this is the 2nd of January, 2024, it is not, rates are not high. So you're probably better off, unless you have a stockpile of money set aside to invest in your business, because that's what it is. If you're going into lease purchase, it's a business. So unless you have money set aside in case of breakdowns or issues or anything like that, because who knows what could come up, then I highly suggest holding off and doing any lease purchase or even owning a truck, unless you're already in that position and you're already getting momentum. Now that's a different story. But transitioning from company to lease purchaser owner operator, I'd hold off and let's see how the industry is going to adjust within this first quarter before you make a move. That is definitely my suggestion right now. Now, as for our lease purchase program, we do require that you run as a company driver for 6 months first. And we've got some coaching in there. It has worked very well for a lot of individuals, but it is a business. And with the way that the industry is, they're not exceeding the company pay like they were before. 2 years ago, the lease purchase program was fantastic for people because we pay a percentage. We pay 72% of the load. Well, as it is right now, with our safety net that we have, our minimum pay, being a company driver is not only the safest bet, but it's, stability wise and probably anxiety. It's the way to go. So that's my personal opinion. And if you talk to a couple of our guys, they'll probably tell you the same thing. Yes, yeah, Katie's right. You will get all that information sent to you in a spreadsheet. So Elizabeth, you just have to ask Jeremy. He'll get that to you. So you've got it. But that it is. Nick says, plus you get to pay for washout and extra stops. Yes, we do. So Decker pays for all of the trailer washouts, right? As a refrigerated driver, we pay for the trailer washouts, plus we pay you for your time for it. So you get, it's what, $10, $15 for your time while the truck or the trailer is being washed out. And these are things that you're calling in for the trailer washouts and stuff like that. But we pay you for your time for it because it has to be done. Where it's done, we'll make sure we're communicating that with you, and actually you'll be reaching out to us, letting us know when you're ready for that trailer washout so that we can get that lined up for you. But you're right, we do pay you for your trailer washouts, extra stop and picks, anything beyond the first and second, we are definitely paying for that as well. Truck washes, yes, that as well. So the trailer washout is $15. It's if you're doing it, you're doing the trailer washout yourself. It's $10 if we're getting it done like at a Blue Beacon or something like that. Where was I going with that? Hang on, let my brains catch up. Truck washes, that's what it was. We do one truck wash a month while you're out on the road. So we pay for one truck wash a month. We love these trucks looking sharp, plus they take good pictures. But no, one truck wash a month while you're out on the road, except for during the winter months, the 5 winter months, we will actually pay for 2 per month. So one every 15 days. But every single time you come to one of the terminals, you can get your truck washed. So as long as the bay is open, go ahead and wash your truck. You can do it on a daily basis. You can do it on a weekly basis. It's totally up to you. Depending, of course, on how often you come into the terminal. Do you have to contract to get trucks and trailers washed? We have that. So we have that, Elizabeth, the contracts, and we make the arrangements. So what happens is when he is empty and ready for a truck wash, he will then call in to Bruce for a trailer washout. And then we will make those arrangements to where he needs to go based off of price and distance and all those variables, so that we're going for the most affordable. Once you've been employed, be a company driver. Flatbed Trucker says, be a company driver. It's less stressful. That's true. Thanks for the advice. You betcha. Yeah, also you can check out our YouTube channel. We do have a couple of interviews. You know what? I don't think I have a recent interview of, well, Mr. Perez is on there for a lease purchase because he does lease purchase, and he's only been doing lease purchase for a short time, and he's been pretty successful. He's a worker, I can tell you that. He is one hard-working man. Yes, they do. I've done these. Nick says, I've done the lease thing and I'll never go back. Yeah, it can be stressful. And in some cases, it's really beneficial. But right now, if I'm looking into the industry, hold off. Hold off. Take care of yourself. Let the company work for you, right? Yeah, we'll have the washout department that will do that. Peter says, Decker pays or reimburses. They also reimburse for parking. Yes, all things that you'll be communicating with your driver manager to make those arrangements. Speaking of reimbursements, when you have a reimbursement, it is crucial to get that paperwork in. So when you're getting your paperwork in, but by the way, Tuesday night, so tonight, is the cutoff for Friday's paycheck. So everything you get in by Tuesday night will be on Friday's paycheck. Okay, whether it's minimum pay or your rate of pay per mile and the miles that you ran, that'll be on there, as well as reimbursements. So if you're on a load and you needed to pick up oil or you needed to pick up antifreeze Anagel is what I'm thinking. Then let's say you get your receipt with the paperwork for that load. As you scan it, you are also taking a picture with your tablet of the receipt and sending that in, documenting it on the cover sheet as well, letting them know that you have that reimbursement so that it doesn't get overlooked. Okay, perfect. Yeah, truck washes are every 14 days during the winter months. Oh, every 14, I'm sorry. And every 30 days during the non-winter months. Nick says the Decker podcasts are really good. Yes, they are. And we're working on trying to get you guys more of those. Our host, he also drives. So, and he's a busy man. You know, he's having fun though in between his loads, his regular loads. He does like to go out and run the Iowa truck, right? With all the equipment. So, yeah. Well, anyways, we're working on that. Peter says, Decker is one of the few companies that'll take care of their drivers. They actually care about your well-being. It just need to communicate. Yes, I do agree with that. I do. But communication is key, says someone in the communications department. Right, Katie? Yeah, it's important. And the more often you do it, and then the better. And, the more consistent you are with it, I guess I should say. Dean says, I washed my truck Saturday in Fort Dodge because it was filthy. It lasted for 4 hours. And then Augustus Creek, still muddy a lot. Yeah, it's some of those lots are muddy, so you gotta get them. You gotta get your truck washed. I get it. Nope, not dry. Yeah. Dave says, I called Tanya and asked about the 2 Peterbilts in Hammond, and she's looking into it. Oh, okay. So I'll let her do her thing. Yeah, Lisa's the one that takes care of that, and those might be already assigned. I don't know. We don't usually swap trucks in those locations, usually in Fort Dodge. But what truck stops do we use? We use a lot of Pilot, Flying J. We'll use a variety of them, but that's the majority of them. We also have massive discounts with the Pilot, Flying J. So if you, like with the rewards, so take advantage of that as well. Make sure you have the app on your phone. Yes. We rock it every day. That's how we roll. That's right. Does your fuel card buy wiper fluid, oil, or whatever the truck needs? You can do that, yes. If what we can do so that you're not having to go necessarily. Okay, let me see if I can do a better job of explaining. When it comes to reimbursements, you are using the card. You're just using a different area of the card. So you've got the card itself, right? One is for fuel and one is for other expenses. Now, the other expenses, if you don't turn in the receipt, then we will assume that those other expenses are personal items, because it's basically an advancement that's available on your card. So if you use it, then you're using the advancement. If you're not using it, then it just stays on your card, and there's no deduction or anything like that that's coming out of your weekly settlement. Now, if you use it and you happen to use it for oil or wiper fluid or whatever, make sure you get your receipt in, because otherwise we'll assume that it's a personal item because you have that availability. If it's not, then yes, you're just scanning in the document and then you don't have to worry about it. You'll see on your settlement that amount is available on your card, and then you'll see the reimbursement on it as well. So you'll have the top part of expense and the bottom part with the reimbursements on your settlement. Dave says, yes, they do. And Peter says, anything you buy, they will reimburse. I broke a binder bar for flatbed. Don't say that. I bought one, they reimbursed it. Yeah. Yeah, it will. And you just have to send it in, the receipt. If you don't send the receipt in, it gets overlooked, or it can get overlooked. Because the payroll department wouldn't know that. So that's why it's important to make sure that you've got your cover sheet. When you're sending in your documents, your paperwork, your bills, all of those have to be sent in, every single page. One page has to be signed. So you might have 5 pages. Not all 5 pages need to be signed, just at least one. Okay. Yeah. Katie says a helpful tip is to make sure you keep organized, is to scan in your paperwork throughout the week instead of waiting until the last day. Yeah, that's pretty key. We do give you until Tuesday night to get your paperwork in, but it's a whole lot easier to scan it as you go. So if you deliver on Wednesday night, scan your document as soon as you're done delivering. We have a couple of people, while they're waiting for their dispatch, they're just scanning it right away, getting that paperwork out of the way. Now you keep your paperwork for 60 days, and then you can get it into the safety department and stuff like that. But you keep those, keep them handy, but they have to be scanned in within the week. And the sooner you do it, the least likely you're going to have to chase random documents around, because things can get lost. I mean, let's be honest, things can get lost, and the longer we wait, the harder it is to find things. It's just like your email, right? The longer you wait to respond, the further and harder it is to find it in your email thread. So yes, definitely get it in. And Peter says, yep, learn that the hard way. Yeah, not always fun, right? Elizabeth says, my husband is very clean and OCD person. Well, there you go. He has a vacuum and all the cleaning stuff to keep inside shiny, and likes his truck shiny. Okay, so here's the thing. We have, and this drawing is actually coming up, we have a campaign called Take Pride in Your Ride. This was a campaign that was started a couple of years ago, but it was actually suggested by a handful of our professional drivers here at Decker. They're like, you know what? We feel like we need to be held responsible for the cleanliness of our trucks. Like, we're out there on the road, we're representing Decker. Basically they were lifting us up to an even higher standard. You can't say no to that. That's an awesome thing when you have people, encouraging others to take pride in themselves. So taking pride in themselves and in the truck. So that's where we started this program. And when you come in for an A or B service into the maintenance shop, you come in for an A or B service, then your truck is basically rated by the maintenance department on a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Now, level 4 is immaculate. Oh my goodness gracious, this is fantastic. You can't get any better than this. It's like new. And you'll get gift cards. You get your name entered into a drawing. Level 3 this is pretty darn sweet. And the higher the number, 4 being the highest, the better it is. If you're at a level, if you're at a level 1 where it needs a little bit of work, before you go anywhere, take a few minutes, get your truck in order. it is a safety thing as well, especially if you've got stuff on the dashboard, you guys. So, get yourself in order. But yeah, Take Pride in Your Ride is a campaign that we have. So it's awesome to hear that he does, in fact, take pride. And then those who get that your name gets into a drawing for a chance to win a $500 gift card. Which, Katie, when is that drawing coming? When is that? Do you know? I'm sure you told me last week, but I couldn't remember the date. I was thinking it was today. Elizabeth says, all companies been with mechanics scared to touch his truck. Yep, I understand that. Yeah, incentives and a clean truck. He will love that. Good. Do you all have any monthly and quarterly safety bonuses? Yes, we do. We have a, monthly bonuses, okay? We have the safety bonus, which is an extra penny per mile, and that's on all of the miles that he completed for the month. So whatever was ran from the 1st of December to the 31st of December, completed, the load has to be completed. So if he didn't deliver that until today, the 2nd of January, then that load won't count. But anything that's completed within the month will be paid an extra penny per mile for the safety bonus. Now that's just one of the bonuses. We also have a performance bonus, which is what we call our scorecard bonus. It's based off of your fuel compliance, your idle time, your miles, on-time delivery, any claims, preventable accidents, CSA violations. There's 7 criteria, and that's the 7 criteria that go into account to the scorecard. And you can get an extra 4 cents a mile, so 5 cents total between the scorecard and the safety bonus, but 4 cents a mile on all the miles completed. That could be your bonus for the month. Now, the average, I think last month was it 2 cents per mile, I think was the average for the company drivers last month, which actually paid out 2 weeks ago. We can have it go. Yeah. But those are our monthly and quarterly bonuses. And more to that, those monthly bonuses, they transition into, or basically they're setting you up for additional bonuses. So we have our monthly bonus, and then if you are ranked high with the safety, or actually low, because the lower number works, but if you've got a good safety rating and you've got a good scorecard, those aren't necessarily the criteria, but because it's pretty competitive, that does come into account. So when it comes to the driver of the month is where I'm going. So driver of the month is another award, and you get a gift card for driver of the month. Also, the nominees will get a gift card too. It'll just be $50 instead of $100. And then you also get a gift card to the Decker store. So you get a Walmart gift card, and then you get a Decker store gift card for $50. Last month, Daniel Sturr won our Midwest refrigerating van division. So he was the winner there. Lisa Emerson and Gary Garrison were our runner-ups. So those nominees, those runner-ups received the $50 gift cards. And then for our OTR refrigerated, Donna Mobley, who's actually part of one of our teams, Donna won the refrigerated, OTR refrigerated driver of the month. Lauren Durham, who has won many times himself, he was also the runner-up for that division. Troy Zeck was the winner for our Midwest flatbed. Congratulations to Troy. Ronald Murrow was our winner for our over-the-road flatbed division. And Michael Grogitsky was our runner-up. And our owner-operator lease purchase winner, driver of the month winner, was Victor Walker. So congratulations to Victor as well. So yeah, we have the driver of the month winners. The driver of the month winners go into a running, so it's just 12, go into the running for the driver of the year, because you can only be driver of the month one time within a calendar year. And then the driver of the years, they each get $3,000. So for each division, we'll have a driver of the year, all 6 or all 5, and then they'll get $3,000. And then from there, we choose the grand champion, and the grand champion gets a $15,000 bonus. Yes, so it just keeps climbing right up. So lots of those. How fast is the hiring process? a lot of it depends on how quickly we get the paperwork in. So it is pretty quick. We can usually have an approval within a 24-hour period, especially if we've got all the employment verifications. Sometimes that's what takes the longest, is getting your employment verifications from your previous employer. But a lot of it's online anymore, and so it's an easy process, and usually within a 24-hour period, we can get an approval. And which means that he would start orientation, or could start orientation, on the following Monday if he chose to. So orientations are on Mondays. They're in Fort Dodge, Iowa. They're 3 days long for an experienced driver. Plus, we currently have a sign-on bonus too. So our experienced drivers qualify for a $2,000 sign-on bonus, pays out in 4 installments. First dispatch, you'll get $500. They're all $500 installments. So first dispatch, and then at 60, 90, and 180 days, you'll get installments. So yeah. We have, sorry, Katie's messages on here too. Yeah, we do have lots of in bonus. So she also mentions, besides the performance bonus that I mentioned and the safety bonus, we also have the referral bonus, which, if you follow us on Facebook, we'll be doing a referral bonus drawing later this afternoon. So stay tuned, because that puts the individual, whoever referred, we had 12 referrals, yeah, who have hired on within the last quarter. Anybody who referred within the last quarter, your name goes into a drawing for a chance to win either a laptop, a tablet, or $1,000. So far, everybody's chosen $1,000. We should just make it easy, Katie, and just say $1,000, right? But that's $1,000. We're going to be drawing that later this afternoon on our Facebook page. Anyways, DOT inspections. Yes, there's a DOT inspection bonus. It's $50 for a clean inspection. And there are incentives for safety training. We do our monthly we have our quarterly safety training. And whoever finishes the quarterly safety training within the first 24 hours, your name goes into a hat or a bucket. And it's actually a basket. And then your name is 10 names are drawn. I'm trying to remember, 10 or 15. But we draw 10 names, I believe, for gift cards. So we'll do gift cards for the first 10, not first 10, but for those who complete the training within the first 24 hours, your name goes in, and then we do a drawing for 10 people. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. Do we all have uniforms? We don't, but we have t-shirts available that you can purchase. We have jackets you can purchase. But no, we don't have uniforms, but we definitely have apparel that you can get at the Decker store. When you come into the terminal for orientation, they'll give you a walkthrough of the Decker store so you can see that as well. There's a lot in there. And for referrals, usually the first referral, you get a t-shirt as well. So that one's earned. So yeah, there are lots of opportunities. That's right. Yeah, questions are good. Elizabeth, we are good with those. Absolutely. He's ready to find his long-term company apps. That's fantastic. Getting tired of being lied to. Yes. That's why we do the lives, so that you know exactly what to expect. There is no hidden agenda. It's just out there. It is out there for you to know and to determine, like, are we a good fit for you? And are you a good fit for us? Right? Good. Yeah, making some good money when you'll be able to see that. So Jeremy will provide all those details to you in an email so that you have it all in one spot. A lot of that information that we went through, the detention, the layover, the mechanical breakdown, all of that stuff. So Peter says, Mrs. Combs, I can tell you everything Decker tells you. It's gospel. I left due to family issues and they understood and never kept my last check. Thank you, Peter. We appreciate that. And Dave says, I scan my paperwork in every day when I shut down. See? Piece of cake. That makes life a whole lot easier. Makes a big difference. We love how information and upfront y'all are to be so far. Good. Means a lot. Well, good. Well, we appreciate it. As always, I'm long-winded, so I appreciate you guys sticking with me for this hour. But if you have more questions, either reach out to us here in the comments and I'll be able to get back to you, or contact our recruiting department. This telephone number that's flying across the screen all this time, 877-433-2537. That's our recruiting department. You can also apply online if you haven't already at drivedecker.com. We'll be back next Tuesday here on our YouTube channel. We're going to go live later today about our referral bonus, so you can hear more details about that on our Facebook page. And as always, we go live every Monday at 4 p.m. Central on our Facebook page as well, so that we can give you more details, let you know on what's currently available, and provide more info. Yeah, one more question, she says. What's your question? As I wait for that to come in, benefits do start after 60 days. I was starting to talk about that, and of course I had a squirrel moment, but they do start after 60 days. Dental, vision, prescription, medical. We have awesome prescription plans right now, you guys. Fantastic. And we have a 401k with a 50% match. Elizabeth says, how does it work for drivers to get stuff they need in their truck when they fly out for orientation? Oh, we do try and route you towards home on one of the first dispatches. It might not be the very first dispatch because, not everything comes directly out of Fort Dodge. The majority don't. But one of the first ones so that you can get it. So if he's flying in, he'll probably fly in to Des Moines, I'm guessing, and this may be different, and then we'll get him a rental car from there. And then when he's completed orientation on Wednesday, Thursday, he'll be dispatched out on a load. And we'll try and route him towards the house as soon as possible to get everything. Now, these trucks do come fully equipped with all kinds of goodies, but sleeping bag, sleeping gear, pillow, he'll want to make sure that he has that, and probably a week's worth of clothing before he gets dispatched out, because those are the things that he'll probably need. Make sure he brings warm gear, because even though it is not cold right now, like that, it can turn cold. And this is not the area he wants to be cold in, especially when he's used to North Carolina weather. So keep that in mind. Dave says you'll never get a 4 on an inspection. This year we've had, let's see, how many inspections have we had? 5 or 6 number 4 inspections. They are very hard to get, but we've had a few. We've had more than that, actually. But I know there's one person that gets it fairly often. His truck is immaculate, though. Elizabeth says, challenge accepted. Awesome. He's never flown before? All right, so we may try and make it as easy as possible. So the fewer things he has, the better. Now, if he has a CPAP, just know that that'll be his carry-on, and he'll have to check that at, going through the TSA section of the airport. He'll have to have that scanned, but it's easy enough. And Katie does say yes. Plus the hotel, it's close to the local Walmart, Target, TJ Maxx, and Marshalls, which he probably won't care about, but I always think it's cool. And if you need anything, there's also a Hy-Vee real close. And the hotel does have a shuttle. So yeah, absolutely. You betcha. We don't necessarily go with one specific. Delta's one that we use fairly often, but sometimes we've used others as well. It just depends on where you're coming out of and what time is going to work better for you, is usually. And price, of course. If one is horrendous and one's like an hour later and same deal, then we'll try to go for that one. But that's something that Jeremy will work directly with Jacob on in order to make sure those schedules work for you guys. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's it. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week. We will see you next Tuesday here on our YouTube. You guys have a safe trip wherever you're going. Yeah. Elizabeth says, hopefully luggage doesn't go missing. Yeah, hopefully not. Let's not jinx anything. I did watch. Do you know that there's a Netflix series on that now? Of course there is. It was really interesting, actually. But they dig pretty deep to find out whose luggage belongs to whose if it's not on there. Anyways, yeah, you get me on a whole nother topic there. You're welcome. Have a wonderful day, you guys.